Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Luminar Technologies, ticker symbol LAZR. And so here I am recording this on Thursday, November 21st, after the market has closed and Laser closed at a price of $10.86, being down a little more than 4.5% on the day and bouncing a little bit in the after hours. And so you might be asking, why is it up so high? It was trading around $1. And so that is because they did just carry out a 1-for-15 reverse split today on the 21st. And I have to say that as a shareholder of Luminar, I'm really excited about this for a couple reasons. One of those is that we've known this was, going to be happening, and now it's behind us. And also, as a shareholder, I tend to like to sell covered calls, but the options chain for Luminar has just been so boring with price right around $1 and, really being in the penny stock range. And so now with the price, right around $10, $11 a share, I think that we're going to see a lot more options activity, which is going to be great for either selling covered calls or buying calls going long. And also because options does create leverage that, can really send stocks higher. So I think that we're going to see a lot of great price action in the months ahead into the new year. So I personally am really excited about that. And so I have drawn some levels up here, but before I go into them, there is one thing that I wanted to point out, before getting into all of those levels that just stood out to me right before I was putting out this video, but it's actually hiding behind Ed. So I'm going to have him move for just a second. And so I was just looking at this and I was just thinking, well, the RSI here is not down to 30. It's at 38.69, fun number there. But, when it gets down to 30, that is in the oversold territory. So, we might be seeing a bottom around there. But then I was thinking, well, with this candle pattern for the day, we opened at 1084, closed 2 cents above. And so that effectively that doji is a dragonfly doji. I guess technically if it was a little bit higher at the top of the day, that would then be a dragonfly doji. But you can think of this as, a hammer candle with this really big tail, or that dragonfly with that big tail to the downside. It did wick down to a low of $9.51. And then bounced, suggesting that buyers were stepping in. So that suggests that a bottom is in. And so thinking about that, looking at the RSI, I was like, well, I wonder if, there's some bullish divergence here. And, maybe that means something, maybe it doesn't. But, you want to have these signals be layering on top of each other to suggest that a bottom is, in fact, in. And so bullish divergence would be, forming lower lows in the stock price, which we did today based on this adjusted price. The new low, the 52-week low or all-time low, which is not yet adjusted up here, is $9.51, which we did hit today. And so we did put in a lower low here. And so bullish divergence would be putting in a higher low in the RSI. So if we look down here, the RSI actually did get below 30, and we are above that now. So if we do see this bounce continue up, RSI start to go higher, that is bullish divergence. So I think that looks really good. I'm really excited about that. But now that I've got that on the table, I'm going to have Ed come back and join us. And I just wanted to throw up some of these levels that I've drawn. I'm going to break them down for you guys so you understand where I'm coming from. And so one of the levels is this low over here that was hit on September 12th at a price of $10.88, with that price being adjusted. And so from that, I have done a Fibonacci retracement to see if there are any other levels to the downside that we might be finding support at around 951. And so the 1618 from this, it's actually not on the chart right now. I've got to adjust the y-axis a little bit so we can see that. And so that 1618 would actually be at a price of $6.11, so down a lot from current price. And so I don't really think that, or at least not in the immediate future that price is going to be coming down to 611. I think it's more likely we see a bounce, we start to reclaim some of these levels to the upside. But I did want to do that retracement just to see, as looking at this on the shorter time frame, seeing this low here, 1088, going up to the high that we hit on November 13th, which was at a price of $18.60 post this adjustment. And so from that, we do see that 1618 down there. I'm not too concerned about that. And so one of the reasons why I'm not too concerned about that is because I drew this downtrend. We can see that price, this is below the current day. That would be at a price of like $7 and let's say 69 cents. And so that is notably lower than current price. So maybe we do go down to there. It is a downtrend, and maybe we break below, 750, maybe come to 611. But I do think, like I said, we will be getting a bounce before that. So I'm not really too concerned about that. And so just to note, the other pivot point that I have for this downtrend was the close from September 10th. That was at a price of $11.39. And so that is how I get that downtrend. As you can see, we did bounce from it over here, going back to April 17th and 18th with that pivot low, that anchor point there being from April 11th at a price of $18.53. And then over here in August, we did get some wicks below that level, testing it, but no closes below it. Again, where I did connect that, pivot point from the close of September 10th, got some more wicks below it. Maybe we do retest it. So good to have a plan if that happens. But like I said, I've said multiple times, I think we will be seeing a bounce. All right, and so now looking to the upside, some levels that we might be testing. So I've done this Fibonacci extension. So that's going from the low of 1088 hit on September 12th, and then going up to that high that we recently hit on the 13th at a price of 1860. And then coming down to the low that we hit today of $9.51, assuming the bottom is in there. And so with that extension, we can see these levels to the upside. And so some of them that stand out to me, one is the 50% extension, and that is at a price of $13.37, does seem to coincide with the price action that we saw on the 18th. There is a gap there, and so maybe there would be some resistance before getting into filling that gap. So 1337, maybe there's some resistance there before moving up to fill the gap. And that would be going to a price of $14.70. That was the closing price on November 15th. So you can see that blue dashed line there, and that does seem to correspond pretty nicely with the 618 here at a price of $14.23. And then moving up, we have the 786 right around 1550, and then the 100% extension at 1723, starting to look like, maybe that would be getting into double top territory with that high at 1860. But then we also, if we do take a further step back, we can see this other gap here at 2108, which was the closing price, the adjusted closing price on August 6th. So you got that blue dashed line there, and just above that, about $1 above that, is the 1618 at a price of $22. And so I think that's just, really, really cool when we do get these levels lining up here. This does seem to coincide pretty nicely with that gap. And also, just kind of miraculously, the 1618 is an even whole dollar number of $22. So I find that to be pretty cool. And then the 2618, I think, in the shorter time frame, this would definitely be getting a little bit greedy, but that is right around $30 a share at $29.72. And so I think there could definitely be some resistance there. And then again, since I'm just taking a step back and it's up here, the 3618 is at 37.44. But, in the more immediate time frame, I feel like we could definitely be seeing a bounce up to around $15 a share. And if there are a lot of shorts with this stock, which I imagine there are, after this reverse split, I feel like that kind of exposes them. and when the new options chain does become available, which I'll likely cover in my weekly options videos that I do put out on Saturdays. I think that there will be a lot of potential to be making some money on Luminar with some calls with these levels to the upside, potentially being some nice strikes to be looking at for long dated calls, as that is how I like to trade options. But also, could be a nice way to just be selling some covered calls and stuff like that. So generally overall, I'm really, really happy that Luminar has finally done this reverse split. And I couldn't be happier about the price action that we saw today. It really does make me think that a bottom is in at 951 with this bounce here, getting back to right around this prior low of 1088, closing at 1086. I think that we could definitely be going up to 15. So I'm really excited about that. But as always, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, you guys.